Hi guys, and welcome back to Let's Compose. This is episode 4. We're still talking about material. Last time we talked a bit about breathing, which I think a lot about when doing sport, and this time we're going to talk a bit more about bike mechanics and how a bike works. It's going to be a bit of a mathematical episode, and I'm bound to mess up at some point or other. Hopefully I won't, but I'm quite excited about this particular one. Welcome, by the way, to all new subscribers. I've gotten a few of them in the last few days. Great to see you here. I hope you enjoy, and keep watching. There'll be lots of music going on. How a bike works: you have a front set of gears here, front derailleur. That's a front derailleur. It's the thing that changes the gears at the front, and a rear derailleur here, and a number of different gears at the back. And when you cycle, you push these and the whole thing goes round, so pretty obvious what happens there. The number of times that you crank the pedals, as it were, the number of times that you make a full circle around this gear here per minute is what we call a cadence. A cadence of a racing bike, usually, or racers, when they often practice at a constant cadence of 90 beats per minute, or revolutions per minute, however you want to see it. But that's a very useful figure for us. It's also the cadence that I try to achieve nowadays. When I went on this tour, I didn't, so that's something that we can address while we're doing this, but it's a useful thing to note. Of course, the speed at which you turn the pedals, the cadence, affects how fast this wheel goes, how far you go, and depending on the gear that's set at the back and the front. So here's the gears on my bike. Here's the gears. Here are at least the outline of them. So this is a Shimano 105 set that I've got on my bike, which is a nice Cannondale Synapse. On the front derailleur you have a gear on the top with 50 teeth in it. So each gear cog has teeth. They're like this. They're uniform distance apart. Doesn't really matter what that distance is for the sake of this. And that coincides with the gaps on a chain. So a chain will have two bits of metal on the side, or links really, and another link there, a further link there, and a bit of metal in between them, and the teeth go in the slot here. This has 50 teeth on it, the largest gear cog on the front. The second one here has 39 teeth on it, and the third has 30 teeth. And here over this side I've got 10 different gears, and the smallest one has 12, the largest one has 25 teeth on it. Now, I haven't yet counted all the teeth in between, but for the moment this will do just to explain what I'm doing here. So if you have your gears on, so let's say we're on the bottommost gear, which is this one here, the biggest of the back with the smallest of the front. You'd never, by the way, you don't do this. You'd never put the biggest of the front with the biggest of the back, because then the chain would look a bit like this. You'd have the gears there, and it would go like that, and the chain is not designed to do that, so it would probably snap. So we can't do that, but we can have this line here between these two, the biggest of the back and the smallest of the front, and the biggest of the back and the medium cog here. And the same goes for here. We can have the smallest with the biggest, and the smallest with the medium. And there's such a thing in cycling called big cog cycling, which means that you do everything in the biggest macho gear, which is not great technique really. But you'll see on the Tour de France, for example, they're so good that they tend to do everything in the top two gears, So if you're pedaling this front gear around and you do one full revolution, that means you use all 30 teeth. In that time, the same number of teeth will go by on the back gear, so 25 plus whatever is remainder in 30 will be the ratio of the gear. So this one will gone round once and 5/30ths. So the ratio between them is 25 to 30, which means, now let me just get this right, which means that it's 30 over 25 to 1. So every one time this goes round, 30 divided by 25 times, which is a very easy sum. We can do this, 6 over 5, so it's 1.2 times for 1. And similarly, every time this goes around once, it's 25 over 30 of those, which is 5/6. So essentially what we're saying in rhythmical terms is that if you have a crotchet beat going on there, that's all equal to 1. Underneath it, you can divide it into 6s using tuplets, and as this equals 5/6 of that, then the rhythm in which the back wheel is turning is 4 plus 1, 1 plus 4, 2 plus 3, of course, 3 plus 2, and etc. So you can see that each of these little units here is 5/6 of a beat. This is a beat, this is 5/6 of the beat, this beat is 90 beats per minute. And this one here, I believe, will be 90 times 1.2 equals, I wish I had a calculator with me, 108 beats per minute. I think I've gone off the camera there. So there we go. So that's the rhythm we've got there going on. So this turns around once every, 90 beats per minute. This one turns around at 108 beats per minute, and you get this nice hocket between them. This one here, less easy to do. So we're talking about 25 into 39, which is not an easy sum at all. We know that it'd be 1/39 to 39 over 25, which again is not that easy. It's 1 and 1 with 14 over 25 remainder. It's not totally undoable. It's not totally undoable, I didn't mean that. It's not impossible. You can just use a 39 tuplet here, and then you can just count out 25 beats in demi-semiquavers or whichever you like. But there's something that Harrison Birtwistle, I think, once told a group of students, which was never mess with performers' minds. This is an ideal thing, and I guess new complexity composers will probably do it. Certainly people like James Barrett, etc., would try and make you think in 39, and I guess there's some merit to that, and certainly ideally it'd be nice if one could do that, but I choose not to put my performers through that. Instead, I'm going to change that 39 to a 40. I'm going to pretend that there are 40 teeth on this wheel, in which case the ratio becomes much easier, I should say, 25 to 40, English fail today, which means that to 1 there is 40 over 25 of these, which again is much easier. Let's just take it down, 8 over 5, which is 1 3/8, or 1 point, I think it's 2/5, isn't it? No, 1 point. Maths fail on camera. 1.375. Well, not that really matters. Essentially what we're saying is that we have crotchets here again, and we know that it's well, we know that the ratio the other way around is 1 to 25/40 equals 1 to 5/8, which means that, well, you divide it into 4 for semiquavers, so we want demi-semiquavers, and 5 of them, which means a quaver with demi-semiquaver, a dotted semiquaver so we want 5 of them, so a semiquaver, and then that would be that to that, and then you get the picture. So it's a faster rhythm. You see that it's 5 demi-semiquavers to a crotchet, and it goes past faster. These details we can all work out later. I hope I haven't got them wrong here. So let's just have a look at the fastest tempo here. So this is the smallest cog on the back and the biggest cog on the front. That ought to be the fastest. When you're going the fastest, you're on these top gears. So the fastest rhythm you'll get here, the fastest ratio to 90 beats per minute on this side. So we're looking at 12 to 50. So that's 50/12 to 1, which is divided by divided by 2 certainly, and you get 6, and 25. 25/6 is 4 1/6. So essentially the other way around is 12/50, which is 6/25. So every crotchet, it's a difficult one as well, isn't it? The crotchet here, and then it's split into 25, and 6 into 25 goes 4 times, and a bit. Hold on guys, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to just do a quick bit of maths. Hi guys, so I had a bit more of a think about this, and well, here's the result. It's basically, you split it into 25 hemi-demi-semis, and then you have figures of 6, which is dotted semiquavers, followed by a 2, which is hemi-semi, and then tied over to make 6 with another semiquaver, and I end up messing with the performers' heads, which is going to happen, I'm afraid. Essentially, it's a simplified version of this rhythm would be just 4 semiquavers in a crotchet, and a little bit more. It's not. It's doable. It's doable, and I'm going to persist with it. If I think of a better way to do this that'll make it easier on the performers, then I will. I was trying to think whether I could change this number to something a bit easier. and it's probably doable. I mean, 60, the next number up, would be very easy. And I wonder if there's something down from that that might... So 52 might, for example. So it's just 8 away. It's divisible by 4. Difficult. If you have any suggestions about what I could do about that ratio there, stick them in the comments. I'd like to hear what you think. But this is the general principle. So what we get from having all these different gears and from examining the relationship between the gears is a set of rhythmical hockets, what we call hockets, which is when you have one rhythm going on, maybe it's a crotchet, and then you have another rhythm going on, maybe it's a bit faster or a bit slower than it, so let's put triplet crotchets. And so you get a particular rhythmical effect. African drumming uses it quite a lot. Ligeti used it quite a lot, and I'm quite a fan of his hocketing material. So we're going to use that for the rhythmic material and for the rhythmic drive once I figured out the details. And that's the second bit of material. Hope you followed that well. If not, I'll try and explain it again. It's a difficult one to explain. This is maybe my second or third attempt, and I hope you liked it. If you did like it, leave a like. If you'd like some more of these in your inbox, then please subscribe. There's a button below the video. And I'll see you next time. Next time we're talking about the third bit of material, which I'm going to be using. And it's related to this, unfortunately, and there will be more maths involved. But if you have any questions about the maths, do get in touch with me or leave a comment below. I'd love to read them, and I'll try to explain it better. Okay, bye. Hi guys, I was just about to go and edit this video when I had the bright idea of checking my notes and seeing what I did before, because I was thinking that was never that complicated putting these two together before. Now I've done this again just to show you clearly what the relationship between these gears are. So here we can see the 5:6 ratio, the 5/6 I should say, ratio. So we have one crotchet every time this turns, and every time this turns we have 5/6, and so that just translates across and you get this hocketing rhythm. Alright, now up here, here's what I did before. I was scratching my head, how do you get 12 into 50? What? I think it's just hard to do maths when you're commentating at the same time. I had this before. What I did was, ready for it? Change that to 10. That makes it all so much easier. So the ratio is 10 to 5, 10 to 50 I should say. Obviously 1 to 5, which means the 5 to 1 it would be, which means that every time this turns round once, this turns round 5 times. It's the wrong way around really. So essentially this rhythm here would be crotchets against quintuplets. Easy, innit? If only I had thought of that before. I did think of it before, I just forgot it. So that makes things easier, and of course if we have this cog being 40, that makes it a very easy one. If I do this very quickly, and essentially that means it's 1 to 4. And you can see that as we go down the gears, down to this one, don't forget there's lots of different gears here, that the ratio gradually decreases, or increases rather, so that this will have a steady 90 beat per minute tempo going at one point, and as you change down the gears, there's another one which gets slower and slower as you go down. So that's what that is, and then of course we can use that to great effect when we decide how we're going to use the gears, and it'll be quite a nice rhythmical driving idea that changes as the piece goes on. And of course the fact that I didn't always cycle at 90 beats per minute means that we can also use that to great effect in changing the tempo of each rhythm. And we have basically a model for the drive and ebb of the piece. Alright, hope you enjoyed. See you next time.